Alright, welcome everyone. I'm gonna be playing some historic. Gonna start with blue-white control. Kind of your traditional cards plus some alchemy slash historic nonsense, especially Kalim, which is, you'll see in the games, it's ridiculous. It's super busted card. Practicing for the play-ins tomorrow. Hopefully qualify for the qualifier this weekend. And yeah, this is the first version of the deck. So just let's see what happens. Hands. We're playing against the Yorion deck. I'm sure how good Fragment Reality is going to be here. Okay. I mean, I'm assuming that card's going to be good against a Soul Warden deck, so I'll keep. I didn't expect Soul Warden turn on when I saw Yorion. I can even steal the Soul Warden if I want to. Cheeky play. Soul Warden deck should be kind of a buy for me. Unless they have a lot of annoying coming to plays and whatnot, it should be close to a joke matchup. White creature spells you cast cost one less to cast whenever you cast a creature spell. Cards are mildly annoying. Let them have it. Exile it, and then they'll hit something that costs. They'll get a creature that costs 2 or less, and then I can get the creature that costs 2 or less. Was. Oh, and I get rid of all the tokens too, so it works out nicely for me. Damn, Soul Warden and Yorion. It's value right there. I like the Snap Divine Purge interaction too. Oops, that just happened. Almost a misclick, but okay. I was gonna say I like it. You play your Snap and then you play your Snapcaster and then you exile it with Divine Purge and you keep getting value over and over again. I really don't want this card to hand size, but playing the Hearse when I'm going to play Purge is kind of bad. I guess I'll just Fragment Reality that now. Just super loose, tapping out. Oh god. Getting it up to like 100 life. Oh, okay, that card's kind of scary. If they're gaining life, it's not a big deal. They're doing more with it. Trying to get Soul Stick right. Greedy to Def Plus. And there's the Panharmonic on Threat. I feel like their deck has a few non-bows though. I mean, these cards don't work very well together. I'm gonna discard the Hearse. I guess I should have cast it, maybe. Whatever. Yeah, Faithful Absence plus Divine Purge is also a combo, kind of. Yeah. It can come up for sure. Oh god.
Do the talking.
I'm plan B.
See you later.
They're having none of it. They had 34, but they're like, nope. No free roll for you. I want to just hardcast Shark, honestly. Why not?
That was uncalled for.
Yeah. No, it's surprised they haven't scooped. Yeah, I mean, maybe they have something really sweet, like some super high top end card that maybe wins them the game if it resolves, but it's probably not that great for them right now. This hardcast Shark Typhoon mean it's gonna go pretty fast. Doesn't look like their deck's that great against like Rakdos or anything, because sometimes probably build these decks to be good against Rakdos. It's like Blue Red Wizard. Yeah, Blue Red Wizard. I always lose to Blue Red Wizard actually. Did you wake up from your mulligan, Daniela? Eating the cat. Just living the life. I don't know what it does, but I want more sharks. I'm occasionally a fan of this stuff myself, knowing it's gonna knock me out. The variation is stuff yourself and then slam some coffee. I mean, maybe Darwin's Veto. Change the equation seems kind of bad. Darwin Veto seems fine. Verdict seems fine. Hearst can go. What could potentially be scary? I mean, literally nothing, right? Maybe Dispute counters Yorion and it's mana leak for expensive spell. Maybe another Purge, another Shark to kill them fast. Good Jarvis. I was watching you cruise through some Murktide leagues yesterday, or a couple days ago. I'll watch like one match and a half, I think. Looks like it was going well. Oh, I guess I was watching till you were 3-0, and then so I left and you lost it all. It was a good luck charm. Kale's, yes, Kale's pretty solid. Kale's definitely a good deck. Kind of hoping I don't have to play Scales at the PT though. Was there some new cool cards? Patchwork Automaton? Weren't you saying you didn't want that card, or someone was saying? Yeah, that card's always impressive. Not always, but on turn 2 it can be really scary for sure. Might want to play another deck for a bit to rank up. It's not that slow. Okay, so this is the kind of cards. Whenever you cast it, okay, that's all scary. Turn 4. Also, like removal doesn't work against that, right? Whether it's exile or not. Gonna keep fragments. A fragment, got eternal, and then I can pull it away. I had a mediocre opening hand just because I figured all I needed was to not get mana screwed in this matchup when did Snapcaster happen. One of these sets or two ago, I guess. Okay, they're drawing all their good cards this game. Wow, Evangel Monument is kind of broken, actually. Alright, that's pretty sick. You get as many as you want, right? That's pretty sick. That's gonna get me. Is that lethal next turn? Yeah, that's a bit better than a bunch of Soul Wardens. Yeah, I'm just dead. Okay. Alright. Guess I'll have all the fragment realities too. That artifact is scary. I don't want to board that though. Guess my auto removal's better. Maybe dispute can go. I guess this is fine. The lane doesn't tap lands. It's good enough, I guess. The ninja is nice. I saw Croakies was testing ninjas. I didn't really watch any games though. Looks like he was doing okay, not great. Our recommission works on artifacts too.
Run away. Keep watch for intruders.
Do they play the other land that protects a creature? I'm a little worried they might have something even better, but well.
Gods, to me.
Hey, Male Pintos, what's up? That kind of works as Urion too. Mildly annoying. Could hardcast that, but I think it's better to just tap a Yuri on and keep digging. Is that a combo? How does it read? It's end of turn or end of their next turn, or let's find out. Discard that card beginning of the next end step. Okay, so it's not really a combo. You're just gonna have to discard them at the end of my turn. Another Kaleem. Dark Typhoon.
Remember your training.
I'll do Divine Purge now. Oh wow. Ephemerate. Ephemerate Advantage all too. I don't even have to blink anything. I can kill my Wandering Emperor this turn. Yeah, OP's deck way more annoying than it looked like after game 1. I want to save my still want to save my Wandering Emperor. Getting -2 on Yorion. I remember playing that card. That card's so good. Cooking aggressive decks, a human too, cleric, decent types. Alright, what's the deal here? What do I want to do? I'll just take down the Orion just so they don't start looping, doing crazy things. I can consider here. Draw to Kalim. Tap one of their creatures. Get a Kalim into play. So once you cycle it for the first time, or once there's 3 in your yard, you can exile 2 to bring one back into play. Knowing that it keeps making more copies every time you cycle it too. It's pretty nuts. Could have bounced that actually. Come down to land, right? Could have bounced that to gain 2 life. Try and live one more turn. Get more damage then. Okay. Didn't really respect them in game 2 and got ran over. Do you have a test to study for or something? Yeah, the favorite version for lands. Magic Online still doesn't have that. It's nice that they added 2-factor authentication to Magic Online. It's just nice to see that. I guess most people who knew Daybreak games had good things to say about them. But it is nice to have kind of the confirmation that they're not just kind of coasting by and actually like trying to keep improving the software. Hopefully that's what it is, you know, and all their friends just landed in Athens, yeah. I agree it makes sense to have failed Magic Online, but you know, we didn't have it yet. It's not be that hard to implement and alright, Soul Partition looking like it might be worse than in March here. That was my experience last time playing the deck for a few matches. Kind of wish these Soul Partitions were March. Lots of decks with really cheap creatures and whatnot in the format. Pretty color deck that might not have a ton of basics. Cards. Dun dun dun. I'll keep it. But I'm still gonna use Soul Partition. Oh, do I need to stop? Does anyone know if I need to stop? Probably do, right? Or did they code it in a way that it gives you priority for a hot second? They're playing the green version, they're probably playing that other green card. Like red-green free job that's kind of like an Arcanist a bit, but it's different. But apparently it's really good. Hopefully they don't have a stomp or a way to finish up the fairy. On tap and I can just Teferi Verdict. Could be in business. Alright, so for those of you who don't know much about Historic, this is one of the crazy alchemy cards that's only on Arena. And the center cursor, and at the beginning of your end step, you can discard a card. If you do, you get a treasure token, and then you choose more or less. And it gets you a card that's random from your deck that costs more or less mana. So they discarded a land, they chose more, obviously. And they got a random card. It's called Seek, right? Seek ability. And obviously that card's really powerful.
Hurry.
There's like a few cards like that that very, very good in Historic. Looks like we're chilling though. It's Sigo, it's Teferi, and Charm mana up. That's fine. Oh, I don't know that one. Free 1 for 2 menace. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up one target card from a graveyard. If a card is exiled this way, you may conjure a duplicate of that card in the top 5 cards of your library at random. Okay, but you still have to pay the mana cost for it. So they can exile a Crucius, and then draw a Crucius in the next few turns. I guess I'll just keep the board clean. Even though it is tempting to just draw some cards. Are the Nuggets just crushing the finals? Have the Nuggets ever won? Won like when I was a kid, they had never won a championship. Did they win one recently, maybe? Oh, this is their first finals ever, period. I mean, the Denver Nuggets have been around forever too, right? Just never really had a good team. I think when I was a kid, they were like their best was when they had Mutombo. Did it kind of okay. Almost definitely a failed push. I think I'm just still gonna target Charm and be a little greedy. And if they have a push, my Teferi goes down 2-1, but it's not that big of a deal. What would I play in Athens? I mean, if I was going to Athens, I would have just jammed a bunch of leagues with that blue-white Lotus field. I actually did record my CFB video yesterday for was Lotus field, and deck felt pretty good.
Stop that.
I played Patrick Wu's list, who came in second in the. Oh, if I played a one from my hand, I just let them have it. Thought maybe because he was playing kind of straightforward, tons of expensive cards, and I was thinking maybe trim a few cards for some number of either extra Jar's Disruption, to have more lands and more turn 2 plays, or I would consider just straight up Impulse in that deck. Maybe Censor could be okay too. The deck was a little inconsistent for me. Could have counterattacked. I could. I didn't want to get hit by something nasty. How many Censor? I don't think there's room for 4, but I mean, I don't know, to be honest, but I would consider, like, I think Impulse could be really good in that deck because of, you know, Lotus Field, of finding Lotus Field and stuff, and even in the late game, like, if I wasn't playing that, I would just play blue-black. I always thought it was crazy people didn't play Impulse. Well, you have a lot of air in your deck, so it is nice to have stuff like Memory Delusion and whatnot. Like once you go through all the hoops to get Lotus Field and stuff, it is nice to have a lot of payoffs. But like 3 Farewell and 4 Doomscar felt a little excessive. I keep it back up to Fairy. Might even just let that one die. Giganta, so we know they don't have Invoke Despair. I guess they're green, so they could have I don't know. Could have something good. Hey, little thingy. Oh, yeah, I saw. Yeah, that's a card. How much does it cost? 3 mana? It's 2 mana? What did they issue? Wasn't paying attention. Oh, my Shark deck thing. Did I know? Did I know about Boseiju in their hand? And I hard cast Shark anyways? No, I didn't know. They just happened to have one. The genius of Twitch chat. Alright, let's find out. Let's find out how many basics they have. They obviously have at least one basic. Wait, they're playing Atraxa? Just hardcast, or is there a combo? No basics. We're still searching. They thought for a while before picking one. You think they're just pretending? This is bad. They could just have like a Castle Locked Lane or something, and then just not immutable, but who cares? Just so far ahead. Hey, Sorcerer. I played very little Historic. Basically never, so I'm not gonna be able to really tell you what's good, what's better. Slimefoot. Oh, Slimefoot is one of the other crazy cards. I don't know what it does, though. Knifing Guard, maybe we can play later. Not sure why anyone would want to go through the Excruciating pain of planes, blue white control, but what would you splash red for in Jet Sky? What do you need the red for? Iteration, Lightning Helix. Probably just save that honestly, but I don't think it really matters. I could maybe lose if I flood. It's so hard to flood with Kaleem in your deck though. Kaleem check. How many do I have? 0, 1. Iteration mostly. I think it was 4 Charm, 4 Snapcaster. You don't need too much extra card advantage. I don't think splashing for iteration makes a ton of sense or is worth it. Yeah, we have a special place for Jet Sky in our hearts here. Sure.
We need to move quickly.
Alright, the ball. Oops. I guess the ball can block. Alright, Devout Decree, solid enough. Fragment is good if they don't have 1-drops. It's only good against their 2-drops and their Fable tokens. Might be too narrow. This is probably okay. Verdict seems good. Yeah, what is not good in my deck? I don't think I want Soul Partition. I think I have better 2-mana cards. I don't think I want Divine Purge either. I don't think I want Hearse. I think March is better than Fragment. I don't think I want Knockout Blow. Balance Vetoes for what? Fable. Go Blank. Anything that counters a Fable is good in my book. But some spot removal is nice too. Could do more sharks. This looks like a nice balance. Looks good to me. Coffee? What kind of coffee? I'd guess some Starbucks mix from the. Gonna go with that. Make your own. Was it? What's a Chemex? Hurtful. Yeah, thinks I don't make. Well, to be fair. I didn't make my own much of anything when I was in my 20s. It's my own pasta, my own sandwiches. Chemex, so Chemex it was a filter? Cool, yeah. Yeah, I do something close to that. Mine is like French press, but I think it's basically the same thing. It's not like a huge difference. Alright, kills down. What's telling me now? Oh. Alright, sorry. Some interesting. Oh, wait, no. Not interesting at all. I didn't think change just in case. Kind of forced him to take it, I guess. I'm getting totally ran over here. The good thing about Crucius is it's not technically card advantage. Blue-red wizards. Slaughter games. Nice. Brutal Web, multiple of the same cards. Can't be countered. It's a good one against Kaleem too. They just keep they're gonna conjure slaughter games probably. Kaleem, turn things around. Doubt it. Doubt it's gonna be enough. We'll see. Clever. Alright, I guess I'll do it now, save the damage. Even though they might just have something better. I can maybe erase them. Might just be able to erase them. Ooh, wow, that's pretty huge. What's like some good draws? Not the greatest play, but I'm just trying to buy a little time. Just let them attack if they want to attack. They don't know about my last cards. Really? They want Nazis back in their deck? Weird. It's non-creature? I think we win. Let them resolve that. Make sure they don't go for a fatal push. Probably don't even have fatal push their deck. Okay, I mean that was close, but I like they drew pretty well. It's not over, they do have 2 mana up. I guess all my cards have wards. They're pretty screwed. My 2 big creatures have wards. Okay, that was nice. Nice first little junk matchup, that went well. Slaughter game's scary though. Water game on Kaleem is pretty scary. Rude. Why you gotta be so rude? I might just do for one myself. Yes, future has been. What's up? I'm good, I'm good. Welcome to the stream. I'll just have to get rid of it, I think, and pray. Okay. Pretty much best case scenario. Some versions just don't play basic swamp. Come on, land. Farmland, hall, field of ruin. Got him. Let's find out. There's like spike. I think the Arcanis deck I was playing the other day didn't have basic mountain. Only had basic swamps because of Sukenzan and the red lands. Also, if you're playing Invoke, I think I had Invoke Despair in my sideboard. Just March. Guess I'll do it now. March has been just exactly what I want every time. It's not the most efficient removal spell, but it's been good. I didn't have it main deck. Nice. Right on time.
Sorry,
Oh, you're right on time. You're not late, actually. Just perfect timing. Wow. Into Snappy Boy. Very nice. Is our sell the 2 damage, shall we? The wizard is never late. A wise man once said. Good Kaleem. Is this non-land though? Yeah, it doesn't work on Den. I was gonna say maybe I should let them have it and let them choose between the two.
that was uncalled for.
Hardcast or Hardcast kind of bad against Invoke Despair. Guess I should have hard cast.
No more watching. It's time to do something. Come on, Chandra. Think on your feet.
That wasn't too bad.
I'm not ready for you quite yet.
What's up, Adam? Playing some historic.
As soon as I think of one.
May I interest you in some arena qualifiers? Why not play land? He's at Prox, I guess. I was thinking maybe I just discard 2 lands and I can tap it with Skaleem. Not sure. Historic. It's just like the vintage of Arena. It's every Arena card minus bans and stuff. It's on the power level of Modern, but in a different way. Not as powerful as Modern, but you have Thoughtseize, you have some cards that are Arena only that would be Modern power level. Too many black cards for Gust, I think. Wouldn't mind First Shark Typhoon. I just play the farmland. Actually, that was bad. If I consider I can find an answer to turn 3 Fable, I don't really know what I was thinking. Oh well. Have the 2/2 for now. Kind of see what happens. Lands? Lands is what's happening right now. Kind of need a verdict anyways. I didn't realize I knew about all these Kaleems. Alright, I get to know the play this time. These have been close. It doesn't feel like he'd ever be hugely favored, but I have a lot of fairly efficient card advantage. Kaleem to keep up. Partition. I think Soul Partition's just too bad. Grindy games. I'm not really worried about 6-mana Chandra, honestly. What'd they shock for? Have a second snap. Unlucky. A little unlucky. Yeah, I'll say Soul Partition would have been about 1,000,000,000 times better than Fragment here. Oh no, A display is just bad. Maybe I should have just drawn a bunch of cards and then hoped to catch up with Verdict. Hmm. Their minus is really miserable here. Getting double invoke next turn also gonna be bad. Ugh, I didn't play this game very well. I got punished for not having Soul Partition in my deck.
I'm known for my expurring.
You'll never guess what I do next.
Like, it's also not in this. I don't know. Not sure if I was in that big of a rush. Did I not play Go Blank? Oh, it's just one. I have Devout Decree in my deck. Maybe more Devout Decrees would be good. It's not the greatest against Crucius, though. Sure. Yeah, Tristan, I don't really remember either back in the day if it's something people used to say or. I would say it was very creative though. It could be him. I'll let them have it. Even maybe overrating Hearse in this meta. And like red black doesn't have like fine against them, it's not that great. Don't really want to tap out for it. I think they're Martyr Reanimator. Okay. William Teferi, another reason why Kaleem's just busted. How did they reanimate it? How much would their reanimation spell cost? Can I tap out here or am I gonna get wrecked? Kind of messed up. I wanted to tap something on barrel, right? Okay, so they can't do it. Alright, that is not great bang. I should have used Kaleem as I zoned out for a second.
I'm getting too old for this.
Mistakes were made.
I'm not done.
Main deck Hearse, Madge. Yeah. Is Divine Purge good enough? Medium. Fragment, I already have too many cards, that's already 62. Got Emperor. Okay. I just got a Shark Typhoon. They're probably less grindy than other decks. And you can just play Crucius as your, so good. You can just play Crucius as your loot ability too. Dang. You may also have the Serra card that protects against creatures. I don't know what that is. Or the Infect Dinosaur. Little list over here. Looks like they don't have the best draw. Change the equation even counters Cactus. Oh, nice. I'll partition it. I think using Charm is okay because I have Snap for change next turn. Save Soul Partition for when I'm really desperate. Could have played hers. They might just hardcast and burial rights here. Could be slightly annoying. I would have to. I guess I get to Killing plus Soul Partition by some time. I get got if they have on tap land, discard rights, discard Atraxa. Kind of a parlay, but could get got. Okay, Atraxa in the bin. I don't really care about Harvester, do I? Consider first for Charm. I think cycling Kalim first is also good. Dubs first. Could just play both, maybe. I don't hate it. I'm not countering anything, anyways. And then just roping. Their entire strats defeated by one card. What do we think about Alteration plus Archfiend for Historic? I have no idea. Sounds like it could be pretty decent. I played no Historic, but seems like a pretty reasonable combo to me. You get anything good in Historic to make the deck function, or is it just you get Nazis to protect your combo? Can they reanimate at instant speed? Coward. Remove. They didn't even attack. They're just done. Crucius helps a lot. Yeah, but everyone gets cards like Crucius. Like it, the deck's like barely good enough for Pioneer. Seems unlikely it would be good enough for Modern or for Historic. Meaningfully gaining.
Gab, thanks for waking California up with great content.
I appreciate that. It's cool that some people in the US, my schedule works out better for some people. I mean, I guess you would probably enjoy the stream at night too. Maybe even better. A little stream during breakfast, a little stream at work to not lose your mind. You're very welcome, Ted. Yeah, that's the nice thing about Twitch. Pretty much no matter when you stream, you'll get the audience. The nail in the coffin. Let's see what the list looks like, if it looks appealing at all. They're basically playing Grixis was Archfiend combo as your top ends. I'm pretty skeptical. I'm doing some 1 a.m. watching in New Zealand. Nice. Early morning streams in the US are amazing for me. My most consistent time to watch is 11 to 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. Nice. I'm playing really slowly. At least it's scooped. Alright, hopefully they're playing on the draw. Change the equation, only interaction. Should be good enough, but... Ooh, wizards. No, they don't have Giganta. Might not be wizards. Maybe just creativity? I guess creativity probably wouldn't have basic islands. Maybe just some kind of blue-red control deck. Phoenix, just thing in the ice. Don't want to waste a counter on thing in the ice when I have a million removal spells in my deck. I could just use it to not fall far behind. These cards are pretty good against Phoenix if they're playing Phoenix. Just countering that. I'm just gonna Wandering Emperor first, start pressuring them. I just makes them use a bunch of removals or whatever. They save my charm. So wait, Phoenix doesn't have Treasure Cruise, right? They don't have the Delve spells. I'm assuming pieces of the puzzle is legal though.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Let's shock and give the hardcast to Phoenix. Did not unban memory lapse now. Wait, so let's draw some cards.
Let your blade do the talking.
Let your play do the talking sounds like a Nike commercial. Let your game speak. That commercial was so good. Gave me the chills. Top tier commercial. The one was MJ. High exchange equation performing. Pretty amazing so far. Really, really good. Basically played only against only decks where it's counterspell, like Shield Red is one card that's dodged it so far, but that's pretty much it. I'd not have more than 2 basics. Field of Ring could be Strip Mine. Another one. And another one. Don't want to run Snap Charm into a Spell Pierce here. Maybe I'll just do that. Basic check. Unbelievable. Terrible deck building from our opponent playing 3 basics. What can they? Pretty chill game so far. You never know with good old Phoenix. Is Kaleem good? Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know if it's better than some of the other crazy alchemy card, but there's no way I would even try to play blue-white, I think. Well, I would probably try to play blue-white, but probably wouldn't be very good. If it was in modern, it would be obscene. It would be the best. Like everyone would play Kaleem. Not everyone, but it'd probably be too good for modern. Be kind of cool in it would be kind of cool in Living End. Yeah, Kaleem Living End, just plan B. Still doesn't work against Graveyard Hate, I guess, but I mean, does blue-white control with Kaleem? You would probably play 4 Kaleem in literally every deck that plays blue. I think it would be that simple. That Hearth is nice. Nice little insurance.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
You think they might not even be a Phoenix deck? A Braid changed the equation. That doesn't really look like Phoenix to me. I think I might actually board out the hearse. In Dispute and Veto. Or is usually decent in the late. Search can go. Argument for Reality can go. Shark. We saw multiple Brazen Borer. Probably still decent. Do you even want Ether Gust? No, not against what we saw. Just do that. Not having the Sharks feel kind of wrong. Do I even want Guts in the 75? No, I was thinking they might be random like green. Like the first Guts was for Snap would be nice. But you don't really want it against red-black decks, I think. Oh, Clunker. Nope, no islands. You'd still put 1 Hearth. It might literally be a break, you know, it might be... I have a hard time imagining their Phoenix deck. Yeah, I see that their own Relic. Relic kind of owns me. I mixed up, I should have played Consider Me, probably. Hopefully they don't have Fable. Hey Auden, what's up? Welcome to chat. Hey Gap playing Kraken even with counterable. Wait, is it the nerf version? No, I guess not. I guess I shouldn't.
This is overwhelming.
Good call. I thought it was different. I thought remembering it was all different. I even kind of read it, but I guess I didn't really read it. What do you recommend for specs? I mean, I think you need a somewhat decent laptop, but I'm not sure what I'm tapping. Nars said they could just bounce it to their hands. I don't know. I'm not a spec specialist. I know my old like 5-6-year laptop doesn't run Arena very well anymore. So you need something semi decent. I mean, not much I can do. You can also play on your phone. The phone app is pretty decent. I like my hand against Narset here. Pretty much every card in my hand says draw cards. Thanks. It's just gonna get bounced. Yeah. So nice that you don't have to click the card when you only have one. I'm gonna hard cast Jin next turn. That's my plan. I'll let it resolve. Does that steal the relic? It's kind of wrecking me. Instead of dying with all these cards in hand. I think maybe I missed the line where they were tapped out and I could have stolen it a turn or two ago. When they cast Brazen Bar, maybe they were tapped out? Oh well. I don't know, I want to say thank you to people who've been using my link for TCG Player and my links in general. But yeah, apparently in May, people using my TCG Player link have spent a couple $1,000, so I get a small commission and makes me look good to my sponsor. So just yeah, I want to say thanks to everyone who uses my links for TCG Player or Ultimate Guard, all that good stuff. Probably have 16 billion counters in hand. What a game! Yeah, it's an interesting game. I wonder what their plan is here. It's kind of surprising they don't have Kalim. I mean, playing a blue control deck without Kalim in it seems pretty sus. Can you bring me some pieces of cardboard signed in the PT? Absolutely. Love signing cards, especially pieces of power. I only signed cards that are worth at least $100. Nothing less. No basic lands from the land box. Dude, they have 8 cards in hand. 8 freaking cards in hand. What's going on? Are they just blue? That they were all in on that one relic.
I have reached my limit.
Charm on a relic, too good. Can't beat it. I didn't see sharks in game 1. We saw playing the ice and brazen boar. Yeah, I would assume they have sharks. At least after sideboards. They'll probably win if they have anything meaningful, just because they're so far ahead on lands and cards in hand. Not a relic. Card counter. I don't see a point jamming Snapcaster when we know what changed the equation. I'm gonna play it to fairy, I'd rather keep mana up. Because they have something scary. Could just hardcast a shark, maybe. Yeah, uncounterable Niv. Eight cards in hand. Alright, maybe I'll play some cards if they say go again. Uh-oh. I mean, sure. Can let you just tap one and get them back right away. Wait, why didn't they cast Brazen Boar? Weird. Fine, I'll counter it. You got me. Their own. They might have Chandra in their deck, something like that. Why do you take the first mode each time when you can take the second available? Taking the first mode is sensitive to copies from opponent. Right. Absolutely right, yeah, I should. Are they playing around the sweeper, maybe? Seems very conservative. Yeah, the Conqueror was a 5-head judge lines. Kind of like Kevin told me in Napoli that I could bring back Transfer Grand in response to the Toulouse trigger. Could have maybe used March there. Alright, let's go for it. I don't remember if I've already played into Dispute or not. If they could have Dispute or not. Brady got punished. Gonna remove 2 flying blockers. If they don't have a removal for Kaleem. I think they're spinning their wheels a bit. How many basics have we seen? 1 island. Ton. Looks like I probably still win. If I tap first, I just die if I break. So I have to attack. Good double block. In which case, pretty close to another Killeen coming back. Never mind, they have Relic. Guess I just hardcast. Hardcast Prage. Oh wow, 1 mana. What a game. Like matchups reality for aggressive decks was a bunch of 1-drops. So something like Wizards. Hey Rice, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Or the raid. Welcome everyone. Hope you had a good stream. Playing a little historic for this weekend's planes and qualifiers. Bring in fragments for these relics. These relics kind of own me. Wraith is the Super Lotus Field Pioneer expert. But I think he also plays other formats. He has, if anyone's looking for a Lotus Field guide, he has tons of pages guide for Lotus Field. Alright, we don't need Soul Partition. We don't really need Verdict, now that we've seen more. March, still probably the best removal spell I can have. Then I think the first curse is probably going to be a pretty big pain for them. Right, 4 can be countered, so we're going to cut that. So this looks good, much better. Yeah, lands and spells, sign me up. No relic, nice. I'm gonna cycle that farmlands. Plus it gives me counter mana if they have a relic. Seems that as long as I can keep relic of the board, I should be able to win. Also pretty weak to Wandering Emperor. I need to get greedy with Shark Typhoon. They have a bunch of Brazen Bars anyways, and they have Charm too. To steal big tokens. I didn't see Spell Pierce, so if they tap down to 1 mana, I might just want to jam the Wandering Emperor. Doesn't do much now, but honestly, I'm just happy to counter that. Use my mana on their turn is kind of nice too. Not sure how crazy I should go though. And super clunky. I'm gonna start jamming because they don't have like a great way to punish me. We didn't see Chandra. Oh, that resolves. I didn't expect that to resolve. So going to be a mass exodus from Twitch over sponsorship changes. I don't know what they changed, but I think it already got reversed, so as the answer is no. I don't just want to deluge, honestly. Instead of trying to march their relic. They want to stack their relic, that's fine. They want to counter deluge, that's also fine. Oh. Desperation right there. I'd love to see it.
Right on schedule. You know what?
How greedy should I be? Should I march that relic? And if they have a Chandra, I'll cry. Can I beat a Chandra? I'll probably beat a Chandra, but let's not be dumb. What was the idea of the original policy, Ranger Texas? I don't think it really affected me, right? It affected more, because I heard someone talk about it. Sounds like it affected more like esports tournament and stuff. Yeah, I thought about marching it on their turn, pitching like my extra Teferi. It seemed like a little aggressive though for a relic. You are gonna limit sponsorships to 3% of the screen. You would not be allowed to have sponsored logos on screen larger than 3% or do your own ads. Also wouldn't be allowed to stream on multiple websites. It was very restrictive. Also going back to 45-day payouts instead of 15. Like you get paid 45 days later instead of 15. Don't sound like much of that stuff impacts me, but let's see, sounds bad for everyone but them. I mean, Twitch needs to make money at some point. They need to figure out ways to make money. Or else at some point they just won't be at Twitch anymore, or they won't have money to keep improving it. But that's not my problem to solve though. More money? I think Twitch loses money. I heard Twitch loses money. It's not a profitable I don't know. I don't know what that even means that Twitch doesn't make money exactly. Like, I'm really not an expert on that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess most tech companies operate at a loss, right? It's not uncommon. I don't believe they lose money running Twitch. Dollars from subs, bits, and ads must be huge. I mean, your statement is so vague. Like, what do you know? Do you know how much servers cost? Do you know how many employees they have? Do you know, like, sounds like you're just talking out of, thin air. Like, it's like the one thing that always makes me smile is when someone's talking about something, they're talking about the economy and this and that, and they throw out this number, they're like, wow, it cost $150 million. I'm like, okay, is that a lot actually? Or is it, normal? Like they throw out that huge number, but it could be like totally normal and stuff, and you have no idea. I mean, camels, sure, 2.8 billion in revenue, but I mean, do you know what a server costs? I don't know what servers and all that stuff cost. Could be way more than that. Or should I spew? Spew mode engaged. Amazon is also probably the owner of the larger server network in the country. Sure, but I mean, once again, like, it's costing them if they're using their servers to run Twitch. It means they're not selling them to, you know, someone else and stuff. So okay, looks like I'm kind of getting clowned here. Looks like I decided to spew it all. Yeah, exactly. It's all about context. If you don't know anything about scale and, I mean, what, that's like, sure. I think I'm still okay. I think I'm still fine.
I guess that's it then.
Exile from my own graveyard, really? Is it better to exile your good snapcaster targets so they don't do this? And they can do the same thing to my graveyard. I don't get it. Is that better for me? Alright, if I target myself, they don't get to choose their relic cards. No, I'm dumb, you're right. I was not thinking about that. Let's auto war a token. Jeez, no. Gonna lose this game? Felt like close to unlosable. Yeah, losing to unplayable is a control. I think I got a little unlucky towards the end there. I've been drawing a land for the past like 4 or 5 turns, I think. I mean, I guess I'll keep it. Spell is a spell at this point. And it deals with Hall if they ever start attacking with Hall. Patience paid off at least. Every card matters so much right now. It's probably GG. Just one because I have more card advantage than me. These relics were pretty good. It's also possible I just kind of misplayed, but these 5-mana Teferi's were basically never going to be good. Oh. I guess I can pay the mana, it's not that big of a deal. In some ways it's better to pay the mana. Means they get 1 less mana from floating. This kind of sucks. I had to kill him like 2 from the top. People greedy. I mean, I think they're gonna side their relic anyways. Man, they're playing so scared. What are they even playing around at this point? Yeah, I should just block. Come on! Spell! I'll take it, I guess. Buys me some time.
Let me know if you're up for round 2.
That sucks. I don't have basics left either. Brew was my tap haul. Alright. Should I do just steal? Could steal the shark and attack them. Yeah, Milton, you can pretty much ask me anything about anything at any time. I mean, sometimes, but especially if it's magic related. You don't have to ask, you can ask a question. Oh. That's sick.
Brutal, savage, wrecked.
Alright, let's get rid of that horror in my sideboard, that's useless. That game was so close. Thought I was so far. Kept slipping away, then I was dead to a top deck.